They can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. NSP directs police to arrest comedians for offensive routines. Well, poor William Wallace turning in his grave. Right? Apparently he got hung, drawn and quartered, didn't he? Tortured. Each of his limbs buried in a different part of the United Kingdom to warn others of doing any kind of treachery so the Scottish people could eventually be free. And now, apparently, like I told you so, 15 years ago when my first comedy DVD release, while it's still legal, I told you so. No one likes an I told you so, but I don't care. I told you so. And I used to hear the rumours around the UK comedy scene. Steve Hughes is a bit full on, isn't he? He's a bit mad. Steve Hughes is a bit mental. And but now I just watch GB News sometimes, and there's all these comedians on there going, oh, look what's going on. Can you believe what's going on? Oh, look what's going on. Can you believe all these people are saying these things? These woke PC people are saying, yeah, of course I can believe it, because I told you 15 years ago. Why didn't you wake up then? Why didn't you realise that as soon as they made it a naughty thing to do to offend someone, couldn't you work that out? Offence is not assault. Offence is not abusing someone. We've already got laws about that. Offence is a subjective world space, as I already told you. Psychological, intellectual, what was it? What did I say? I always forget this bit. Intellectual colonialism and psychological fascism for the creation of thought crime. I said that 15 years ago, didn't I? It's exactly what it was, right? Because you can be offended anywhere. As I said, I was offended when I see boy bands. See, it's a valid offence, like I did that joke. But now the cops want to come in and run around your house. Apparently because the NSP, the Scottish Nazi National Party, can apparently send the cops down there. They'll turn up in their rainbow car. And, you know, they're not going to come around to your house if someone actually stole your car, but they'll come around in their rainbow car to make sure that you're not getting anyone upset. And do you know what else is great about this law, which I pointed out in my last DVD, which hasn't been released yet? But see, they'll put the onus on back of the accused, right? So that you would have to prove that you weren't saying anything to offend someone, which you can't do. And then, of course, they have no proof that they're offended because it's a subjective world space. So they simply go, I was offended, and they go, prove it. Well, you don't have to. Why? Because you can't, because it's just a subjective world space. The nebulous law, an objective law around a subjective nebulous experience. But this is the reality we're living in now, where rationality and being grounded in some kind of objective reality so that we can function as a group and get along and have distinct understandings of what certain things are so that we can evolve and discuss things is gone now because we can't discuss anything. Why? Because apparently there's a million genders and there's, women are men and women are the same as men, and you better not say anything that they aren't. Otherwise, you're committing hate speech and being offensive, right? And apparently if you're a minority, then your life's bad. See the tsunami of that word, minorities. We've used it for ages, haven't they? The minorities suffer, the minorities of this. And you've heard it years of the BBC and the ABC and any other internationalist sold-out agenda sells you this word as if somehow that anyone who's a minority is having a bad time. So they use your compassion against you, see? And now you've been programmed to think that anyone who's a minority or is apparently having say, disabled is somehow having a bad time. Now, there'd be certain things if you were disabled that perhaps are not as, well, let's say you were a surfer and you got your leg bit off by a shark. Well, now you're disabled and you can't do surfing, right? But now we've got to say, like, well, how can we accommodate the person who got his leg bit off so that he can surf as well? Well, you can't. So you just accept the reality of your situation and you take up a new hobby, like hopping, right? They started this years ago. I did it on my second CD before I even had a DVD because they had a thing in the paper years ago in England going, people are upset. I don't know who these people are, these lobby groups that turn up and go, that there's not enough rambling. They call hiking rambling in the UK. There's not enough rambling facilities around the English countryside for people in wheelchairs to go rambling. So what are you talking about, facilities? See, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't go hiking. That's just a part of your life that you now accept. Or perhaps you get your mate to push you out and get hit. But who are these lobby groups that made out that everyone in wheelchairs having a bad time? See, I was a minority. Why? Because I was into heavy metal. That's a minority, right? Most people like pop music or Michael Jackson, and I was in the 80s, right? And I was in Madonna and Culture Club and Michael Jackson. So if you watch a music show, that's what's on the music show. Michael Jackson. Why? Because it sells and it's what the majority of the people like. And then you wait all night to watch 4 metal clips. Why? Because you're in a minority. Oh, was your life bad, Steve? No, I liked being in the minority. It gave me strength, power. I like the idea of not being in that amalgamous group of sheep, right? What's a wonderful first line from a Morbid Angel song, World of Shit? Bred from the bowels, sheep one and all, born from the doctrine of lies. See? Hey, you think metal doesn't teach me things? It teaches me great things. See, I don't want to be part of the group, right? Because, you know, you get groupthink, and then you all wear Calvin Klein underpants and line up to see stupid concerts, and you all like the same things. I could never work that out. Why? Surely you can't like the same things, but they do, because the group's meant. There is a saying. Usually a nation is judged by how its leaders or governments can provide for the majority and have the country evolve, right? Because that's what having leaders or governments or a centralized force that perhaps we're going to provide for the majority, right? Because it's a majority. That's how you would have a foundation of a nation being healthy as it can possibly be and perhaps evolve, like, as the majority of it is provided for or given a psychological landscape to exist in, right? Because it's the majority, right? But now with this word of minorities, right? See your governments have sold out, right, to the world, and now through turning your own compassion against you, right? Because you think everyone that's a minority is having a bad time, and anyone that's having a hard time should be just, you know, cried over and stuff, right? You provide for the minorities. I was in a bathroom in the UK, right, in a service station, and it had been redone. I could tell because all the service station bathrooms in the UK are disgusting and usually have piss all over the floor and stink, right? But this one had been redone. And there was a hand dryer on the wall, but only one, but it was down here, 4 people in wheelchairs, even though 99 point God knows how many % of people in England aren't in wheelchairs, but we've provided this. So now everyone in the country has to bend down. Why? Because they're providing for minorities. And then there's probably even a part of you now that's listening that got programmed from the tsunami of bullshit that's been foisted upon us through these news programs now that's thinking, well, Steve, you know, they're in wheelchairs and that. Okay. Well, why can't someone have a worse life than someone else? And how do you know all people who are disabled or this are having a worse life than you? Why do you project this onto people that apparently they're having a worse time than you if you're apparently objective, like, well, I can walk, so someone who can't walk must be having a worse life than me? How do you know that? And why can't someone have a worse life? Because they spread the idea of equality. But equality doesn't exist in nature. You understand? Right? So why can't you come to terms that some people have bad lives? Maybe it's karma. You ever thought of that? Some people believe in karma. Perhaps you got up to mischief in a past life and you've come back now and now you've got to deal with some stuff. I don't know if that's true, but that's a theory that people have, don't they? Right? So how do you know that someone didn't do something bad in a past life, came back, had an accident, now they're in a wheelchair? Why? Karma. I don't know. You don't know. But now you sit there and go, well, you know, we've got to make sure that everything's equal. But everything isn't equal, and there's no equality in nature. Nature doesn't care about your equality. I don't get that much sex off women, right? And I never have. But I know blokes who've got tons of sex off women. So are we going to make a law that, you know, because who doesn't like sex? I like sex, right? But I don't get as much as some of the blokes I've known, right? So should we make a law now that everyone gets the same amount of sex? And how do you know that, well, someone who gets more sex is having a better life than me? Maybe some guy who gets too much sex, because I've known some pretty sexy guys being in bands throughout my life who got a lot of sex, a lot of offers from women. In fact, too much. They couldn't accommodate it all, right? But how do you know that if your life, if that happened to you, you wouldn't have loved it so much and you would have got out there and got some weird sexually transmitted disease and died? You don't know. You don't know the circumstance of your life. You think it's gone bad, but it might be good in another way. See? They're tricking you. They're tricking you. Oh, why didn't I work out when I was young? That's what I used to think. I should have gone to the gym and got myself more muscly and not had some certain issues with being such a skinny guy. But maybe I would have gone there with my attitude, pushed too hard, done a disc in me back, blown it out, be walking around in pain for the rest of my life. You don't know what could have happened. I mean, I do know some things happened. I'm eating more meat these days and I'm getting erections. Great. As I said, I was eating donuts and fruit before, crumpets, and I was waking up softer than dough. But now I'm scoffing down steaks. But unfortunately, don't have any women to sleep with. So I'm like a bloke with a hammer with no nails in a glass house. So it's quite depressing because I wanted to get. I'm going to the UK soon to do comedy. The beautiful UK, the home of comedy. The England, Ireland, Scotland, the land that gave me my career. I owe it a lot. I owe England more than Australia. I grew up in Australia, but I owe England, Great Britain, Ireland more. That was the place where I could go and do comedy. And there was tons and tons of people and clubs and people with great senses of humor and a genealogy, a psychological history within them of great humor. The English are great humorists. The Irish are naturally funny. Scotland had the Edinburgh Festival. The Edinburgh Festival used to be fun, man. We used to go up there. It was like a summer camp for neurotics. 24 days. You did an hour show every day, plus extra shows at night. It's just sometimes some people even indulged in illicit substances. Not me, of course, but it was a fun time. But I haven't been there for probably 15 years. Why? Because it's boring now. It's boring. I don't even want to hang out with comedians really anymore. I don't even like the comedy. It's kind of embarrassing to be a comedian now. Because I kind of knew it was going to go a bit shit when they started, like those shows, Britain's Got Talent, X Factor, and then they did one for comedy, Last Comic Standing or something. I go, this is it. This is the death of it. See, maybe I'm not right in all in my theories, but see, I come from the underground of heavy metal, right, where art was done by outsiders, where art was made by people who had something to express, sometimes because of internalized trauma, sometimes because of neurosis, sometimes because of difficult childhoods. Sometimes they just had sheer talent, right? But I like that kind of art, like my friend Alan Averill from Primordial. See, their band is intense, it's real. And they're one of the best bands in Europe doing heavy metal, original, right? But they'll never be as big as other bands. Why? Because their stuff is deep. It's dark, right? It comes from a history of tragedy within Ireland, and they sing about that, and they talk about that, and their music it pains you, so it's real. So a lot of people don't like it. They don't like to be reminded that the world is a dark place. This is what PC is all about. Everything's got to be safe. You've got to have a safe space. See, but the world's not safe. It's so dangerous. See, what's that Alien? Remember the Alien movie? Hey, in space, no one can hear you scream. Now it's in safe space. No one can hear you laugh. See, because we've got to have a safe space. Right? What do you talk? Don't you understand? This is for all you PC people that have been sucked in. See, if I was going to be vicious on this channel, see, but the problem is, it's not that I disagree with your politics, because you don't have politics. You have ideologies given to you by the authoritarians, right? And you think you're an individual, but you're not. You're just in a groupthink mass. And if I was going to be really vicious, see, it's not that I just disagree with your ideologies. It's that you're a traitor to your own nation and your own country and your own fellow countrymen, right? Because you're a psychological foot soldier, an emotionalized landmine ready to go off and destroy your own fellow citizens, your own brothers and sisters, right? You understand? You're disgusting. I'm trying to be upbeat about it, because if I said what I really felt, perhaps we wouldn't be allowed to show this. So if I did say what I really felt, it's not that I think you're disgusting. See, you're traitors, and you've given out to the ideology of the enemy, and now you're helping destroy your own nations, right? So in one sense, you should be brought to heel like traitors. So I guess my main point today is I was speaking to John, my geezer mate from the East End. John, he deals with a lot of my gigs in the UK now, because I don't have an agent there anymore, because you blue hairs came and scared my agent off, right? So now John, he's helped me out. So we go a bit underground. He's all right by me. I'm used to the underground, right? I prefer it. The air is cleaner in the underground, right? There's a part of me that doesn't mind being away from the comedy scene in one sense. I have less cash and less work, yes, But I really can't be around a lot of these comedians anymore because, as I said, when the Last Comic Standing and that turned up, normal people got involved. Well, maybe I could be a comedian as well. I'm just a normal person. No, no, you're not an artist. You just saw it as a job where you didn't have to get up every day. And a lot of you, I'm not naming names, I don't even know you anymore. See, when I used to do the English comedy scene, the club scene, you'd go into the dressing room, everyone in there was qualified. Everyone was a character. You'd have a gay bloke in there and a geezer, right? You'd have some lesbian chick. Donna McPhail, she used to be the big lesbian comedian. She was a legend. She wasn't crying every 2 minutes going, I'm oppressed, I'm offended, it's hard. No, everyone in there was a character. And see, now what you're trying to convince me now is that somehow, the white male-dominated comedy industry in the UK, well, it wasn't dominated by anyone. See, they use words like dominated, as if we dominated it. No, it's just that there's a lot of white blokes in England. They're funny and they do it. And men usually do comedy and bands more than chicks. Oh, because of the patriarchy and the oppression. No, they just tend to do those kind of things. You can do them if you want. What? I haven't seen chick bands in my life. I've seen them. And so don't try and convince me that there was this white domination going on in the UK comedy scene. If you were funny, you got work. It was as simple as that. I was with black guys and black chicks and Muslim chicks and Arab chicks and gay blokes and guys from council estates and posh blokes. And why? If you were funny, the people that ran the gig didn't care. What? They're capitalists. They want money. If you're getting laughs every week, they ring you up and go, come to my club. Why? So they can sell tickets and beer. It's not rocket science, folks. So, but don't try and convince me that it was dominated by these white men who were going around making sure that no one else got a chance. See, that's bullshit. You'll never convince me to believe it because I was there and a lot of you weren't. So this is why I'm upset. Because I'm about to go, I was talking to John last night in the East End. He's a geezer, right? Original geezer, right? He set up some shows for me. He goes, yeah, you got 6 gigs in Scotland. Now I'm not going. Why? Well, because my comedy, and see, here's the worst thing. It's not like the cops might turn up to my show in plain clothes and try and get me. I can't trust the general public anymore. As I said, you're the psychological foot soldiers. The emotionalized landmines ready to destroy your own citizens' lives just if you have an internalized, subjective, erroneous reaction to something because you've been watching too much BBC and you brainwashed yourself into thinking you're in the moral high ground. And now you're the enemy and I don't know where you are. And then all you have to do is run off to the cops. You don't even have to go to the cops. In fact, you can apparently, I was listening to this thing on the GGB News, whatever it's called. You could just go to a sex shop and report it. And the cops say, what? A mushroom shop and a sex shop, right? Tripping dildos and acid. What world are we living in? Well, I know, because I told you years ago. A mad, nebulous, subjective world space of just never-ending nothingness. See, none of these ideas are for solutions, folks. They're for your utter destruction. They're using the idea of minorities and your compassion to destroy the majority, which is you, because they want a new world order and they want everything broken down, right? So they have to destroy the heart of the nation states, right? And that's the majority of the people. It's not rocket scientists. That's what's funny, though. That's why I'm being a bit arrogant today and going, I told you so, because now I watch these YouTube channels and there's tons of people out there all going, oh, have you seen this? And feminism's gone a bit far and I can't believe these woke people are saying this and the political correctness has gone a bit. Yeah, I know. Where were you 15 years ago? I'm not an intellectual. I'm not an academic. I'm not even that smart. I'm just a guy that never wanted a normal job, so played drums, then did comedy, and then, listened to Black Sabbath. How come I worked it out? Where were all these academics and intellectuals? The first time someone said, well, perhaps you could go to prison if you offend someone, bang, red flag. You should have said so. Why didn't anyone say anything? I did. Didn't that trigger anything in anyone? Anyway, I wanted to go to Scotland, and now I don't think I'm going to go because my show will definitely be deemed offensive, and I can't trust people in the audience because all they have to do is have one little freak out and then come and accuse me, and then the cops show up, and then, of course, I can't prove that I didn't mean to offend them, and they can't even prove that they're offended. That's what's so mad about having an objective law and a subjective experience. There's no dead body. There's no robbed house. They just go, I was upset. So you can't even be upset anymore. Why? Because you've got to be in your safe space. See, you're becoming pathetic. You don't want a safe space? Didn't we used to worship people who overcome adversity? That's who we used to worship. Some guy who got kicked out of his home when he was 14 and his mother was a prostitute, his father was an alcoholic, and he left and got on a train and hitchhiked across to the United States and started a job in a coal mine at 14, and then 2 years later he got the higher job, and then by the time he was 21 he ran the coal mine, and then he bought a percentage of the coal mine, and then by the time he was 33 he owned the fucking coal mine. And how'd you do that? Well, I overcame adversity. They used to write books and we used to read them. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this woman. But now, so why don't we get the same chance? Because the white men are dominating the comedy industry and we don't get the chance. And see, it's pathetic. And it's not for solutions. It's for destruction. I heard this feminist the other day having a chat. And she said this. She said, well, I think as long as the human race exists, that feminism will exist. You know what she just said then? She doesn't even notice she's that stupid, right? She's saying that what she wants, obviously, if you're a feminist, you have some kind of goals that you wish to see manifest or achieve, but she's saying that they'll never get them. Well, as long as so if the human race was here for another 500 billion years, then feminism should still be going. Which just proves that you just said to yourself that you're never going to get what you want. So that's like me saying, well, I want to meet a girl. I'm going to go out to the club every night. Every night, 7 nights a week I'm going to go. Do you think you're going to meet a girl, Steve? No. You sure about that? I'm positive. I'm positive. I'm going to go every night, but I'm never going to meet one. Are you going tonight? Of course. See, you'd be an idiot embarking upon a state of affairs that you're already guaranteed you're not going to have any kind of solution to. And I'm supposed to listen to these people and take them seriously. But I have to, otherwise the cops turn up in their rainbow car, apparently. So I thought I'd have a rant today, folks, because as I said, speaking to John last night, and he said I've got 6 gigs in Scotland. And now I'm like, no, I don't think I do. Be lucky enough to get away with it in England. Then we've got to watch out for Ireland because they're over there with Varadkar, whatever his name is, trying to see if he can shut all that down. The funniest people in the world, the Irish. I love Ireland. I'd live in Ireland. As I said, I owe the UK and Ireland a lot for my career. And I appreciate them. And I'm from Australia originally, a British colony. Britain colonised a few countries around the globe, and now I'm watching Britain colonise its own people out of existence. What do you say to that? Well, there's a joke right there. So let's hope I can get to Scotland. Who knows, folks? Just, well, it's still legal.